Welcome everyone to the Judiciary Committee decision-making agendas for this Friday morning. My name is Carl Rhodes. I'm chair of the committee. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live event will include two agendas, as I mentioned, 9:30 and 9:45, both decision-making only. The other members of the Judiciary Committee are Vice Chair Keoho Kalole, who will not be here today, an excused absence, and Senators Ocasio, Gabbard, Lee, Kim, and Favela. As noted, this hearing is being live streamed on YouTube. You can find links to viewing options for all Senate hearings and meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. If you're interested in seeing the written testimony, you can go to the legislature's website, capitol.hawaii.gov. If we have to abruptly end because of a catastrophic technical failure, we'll pick up where we left off on Tuesday, March 1st at 9:55 via video conference, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. Okay, as this is a DM decision-making only agenda, unless anyone wants to go into the breakout room, I'm ready to start making recommendations and we can vote. Okay, we'll go ahead. First up on the 9:30 agenda is SB 2125. This increases the maximum allowable fines for violation of liquor control laws by licensee from $2,000 to $5,000. Recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Acting Vice Chair Ocasio for the vote.
Okay, Chair, Senate Bill 2125 passing unamended. Voting on SB 2125 unamended. Chair Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Keoho Kalole is excused. I vote aye. Senator Gabbard?
Aye.
Senator Kim?
Aye.
Senator Favela?
Aye.
And Senator Lee is excused. Chair, the measure passes.
Thank you very much. Next up is SB 2334. This requires the Board of Education to hold not less than 6 community forums annually with at least one forum in each county. It requires the board to include an open forum for public comments on non-agenda items, and it requires a report to the legislature. Recommendation on this one is to go ahead and accept the DOE's amendment to put Section 2 in the HRS, which would indicate it's a permanent requirement. Right now, it's just in session law, and that's the Section 2 is the open forum at the end of meetings requirement. So SB 2334 with amendments. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, noting the excused absence of Senator Lee and also Senator Keoho Kalole, we have Senate Bill 2334 with amendments. Any reservations? And any opposition? Okay, Chair, your measure passes.
Thanks very much. Next up is SB 2393. This acts the Uniform Recognition and Enforcement of Canadian Domestic Violence Protection Orders Act, which just allows U.S. courts to enforce Canadian domestic violence protection orders. Recommendation is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? Seeing none. Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair. Senate Bill 2393 with as is, noting the excused absence of Senator Keoho Kalole and Senator Lee. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay, measure adopted, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next is SB 2423. This is relating to the Electronic Prescription Accountability System. It updates Chapter 329 to clarify who may access information stored in the Electronic Prescription Accountability System. It's to allow prescribers, dispensers, and pharmacists at Hawaii's Veterans Administration facilities and authorized employees at the Department of Human Services MedQuest Division to access information stored in the Electronic Prescription Accountability System. Recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? Seeing none, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, this is for Senate Bill 2423 passing unamended.
Yes.
Noting the excused absence of Senator Keoho Kalole and Senator Lee. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Thank you, Chair. Your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2494. This prohibits landlords from recovering possession of a dwelling unit from tenants if habitability of the dwelling unit is significantly impaired, sets the tenant's liability for rent if habitability of the dwelling unit is significantly impaired, and provides remedies for retaliatory evictions. Our recommendation here is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Chair, this is voting on Senate Bill 2494 as is, noting the excused absence of Senator Kilhokolole and Senator Lee. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay. Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next up is SB 2764. This expands exclusions from the definition of development as applies to special management areas to reduce the need for special management area permits for certain activities. Our recommendation here is to pass with some amendments. We do have the prior chair's concurrence. I'd like to use the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development amendments. They expand a little bit the kinds of things that you can do in a special management area without getting a permit, I guess it is. Yeah. Including control barriers, changes on protecting invasive species on conservation lands, and installation, repair, and replacement of security measures, including fencing to existing public facilities. So it's a fairly minor change. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2764 with amendments, noting the excused absence of Senator Kilhokolole and Senator Lee. Are there any reservations?
Reservation.
Any no votes? Reservations for Senator Fabella? Any no votes? Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Moving on to SB 2824, relating to the Board of Education. This amends the minimum qualifications for Board of Education members. Recommendation is to go ahead and pass it unamended. I will be putting in some committee language with questions about what exactly the what we're trying to do. So just for the next committee's perusal if they decide to pick it up. So the actual recommendation is unamended on SB 2824. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2824 unamended, noting the excused absence of Senator Kilhokolole and Senator Lee. Are there any reservations?
Oh, I'm
Any
here.
no votes?
Senator Lee's here.
Oh, Senator Lee is here. Hello. Okay. So noting the excused absence of only Senator Kilhokolole. Are there any reservations on this measure? Any no votes? Okay. Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thanks very much. Next up is SB 3140. This requires the holder of a controlled substance registration to immediately verbally report the theft, embezzlement, fraud, or diversion of a controlled substance in the holder's inventory. Recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, this is voting on Senate Bill 3140 unamended, noting the excused absence of Senator Kilhokolole. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next up is SB 3141. This updates the Controlled Substances Act, Chapter 329, to make it consistent with amendments in the Federal Controlled Substances Law. This is a yearly ritual, a conformity bill, and the recommendation is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 3141 unamended, noting the excused absence of Senator Kilhokolole. Are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. That concludes that agenda, and obviously I mistimed this by about 4 minutes, so we'll be in recess for 4 minutes before the 9:45 DM agenda. Recess. Okay, going in, this is the Judiciary Committee. We're going into our 9:45 decision-making agenda. First up on the 9:45 agenda is SB 2002. This defines assistance animal in the context of Hawaii law prohibiting discrimination in real property transactions. There's been questions about what an assistance animal is and what isn't, and especially for condos that don't allow pets. Recommendation here is to pass with some amendments. I do have the prior concurrence of the Senator San Buenaventura to reinstate the phrase possession of a vest or other distinguishing animal garment, tag, or registration documents that are commonly purchased online and purporting to identify an animal as a service animal or assistant animal shall not constitute valid verification. So the verification has to come. There's another list in the bill of who that comes from, mainly doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists. Yeah, so that's SB 2002 with amendments. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2002 with amendments. Chair Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Keohokalole is excused. Myself, Senator Ocasio, is aye. Senator Gabbard?
Aye.
Senator Kim?
Aye.
Senator Favela?
Aye.
And Senator Lee?
Aye.
Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thanks very much, members. Next up is SB 2008. This repeals the 3-year limit on the exemption of the state and counties from the requirement to maintain or improve any condemned roads. Still trying to figure out what the best language is. There's some sort of technical legal issues to deal with. So I'm going to defer this just for less than a week, Thursday, March 3 at 9:29 a.m. Deferred until Thursday, March 3 at 9:29 a.m. And hopefully we can work something out that the prior chairs will be okay with. Okay, moving on to SB 2034. This requires assessment of patients who are subject to emergency hospitalization, diagnosis of a mental illness or severe substance abuse disorder and found to be lacking decisional capacity to determine if a surrogate or guardian needs to be appointed. I will suggest that we go ahead and pass it out. It has a bad date already. There were some suggestions I wanted to make, but I needed to talk to Senator Keohokalole, so we'll just pass it out unamended, but it does have a bad date. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, voting on Senate Bill 2034 as is, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole. Are there any reservations on this measure? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2065. This prohibits the use of unmanned aerial vehicles in state waters for purposes of fishing. Recommendation here is to make some amendments. Senator Chair Gabbard from Ag and the Environment has given his prior concurrence, as has Senator Noe from Waterland. So the suggestion will be to put the new crime in a new section and will exclude simple reconnaissance from the definition of the crime. So if you just got a drone out there looking for fish, that's fine. But if you start dropping nets from it or hooks from it, then that's not fine. But instead of a Class C felony, we'll make it a misdemeanor with the regular penalties for a misdemeanor, which is up to a year in jail and a fine. And I can't remember what the amount is, $10,000, something like that. Anyway, it'll be the regular misdemeanor. And that's it. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, voting on Senate Bill 2065 with amendments, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole. Are there any reservations? I have reservations, Ocasio.
Good.
And are there any no votes?
No vote for me.
Okay, and no, Senator Favela, no vote. Mahalo, Chair, your measure passes.
Thank you. Next is SB 2072. This requires the court. Okay, let me just be sure I'm actually doing the right bill. SB 2072 requires the court to appoint counsel to indigent parents upon the filing of a petition for custody or family supervision and make every effort to do so at the first hearing attended by the parents. On 2072, recommendation is to pass unamended, but we're going to put in the committee report what the scope is intended to be. We're wondering if it was intended to include termination of parental rights proceedings as well, but I don't really know. So we'll just ask and then we'll just raise that point in the committee report. So unamended. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, voting on Senate Bill 2072 unamended, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole, are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next is SB 2115 relating to room confinement of minors. This establishes conditions and time limits for placing a minor in room confinement at a detention or shelter facility. Recommendation here is to pass with some amendments. I do have the prior concurrence of Senator Nishihara on. I will delete qualified from mental health professional. We'll add a clause that prohibits the use of consecutive periods of room confinement to evade the spirit and purpose of the bill, and require the posting of quarterly reports on the department's official website of all shelters and detention centers to reporting quarterly their compliance with the law, including the number of incidents of room confinement every year, the number of youth impacted, age, gender identity, race, alternative strategies employed prior to use of room confinement, reasons those strategies failed, and room confinement was necessary, and incidents of mental illness. Also require that any decision to place or hold a minor in room confinement due to a mental health emergency shall be made by a mental health professional and based upon the mental health professional's examination of the minor. So that is SB 2115 with amendments. Any questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2115 with amendments, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole. Are there any reservations on this measure? Any no votes? Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you, members. Next up is SB 2118. This relates to traffic violations. Requires a driver of a moped be in immediate possession of a valid driver's license or instruction permit at all times, which I believe is the rule when you're driving a car. I'll ask the Transportation Committee Chair, is that correct?
I believe that's right.
Okay. So recommendation here is just technical amendments. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I know when you have a permit, you have to have a licensed driver with you, but how is that going to work for a moped? Having a permit?
I think you can drive a moped with just a permit. Is that correct? Just Senator Lee, do you know?
I'm not 100% sure because I haven't looked into that portion of it, but I believe the permit is applicable to all Class 3 applications, which should be this as well.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
We'll put something about that in the committee report because it's a good question.
Thank you, Chair.
Normally, you can't ride two people on those comfortably anyway. Okay, so sorry, 2118 with text and some committee language. Any other concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, voting on Senate Bill 2118 with technical amendments, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole, are there any reservations? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thanks. Next up is SB 2126. This increases the minimum and potential maximum fine for violating certain provisions relating to the installation of a noisy muffler. Recommendation is to pass as is. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2126 as is, noting the excused absence of Senator Keohokalole. Are there any reservations?
Reservations?
Any no votes? Reservations for Senator Favela? Any no votes? Okay, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next up is SB 2137. This requires the Department of Health and pertinent county agencies to work together to resolve problems and complaints regarding clean and sober homes. Oh yeah, there was a kind of a, so the effective date right now is June 30, 2022, which is sort of an odd effective date. So I'm going to suggest that we change the effective date to upon approval. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio. Can't hear you.
Chair, voting on Senate Bill 2137 with amendment. Noting the excused absence of Senator Keoho Kolole, are there any reservations on this measure?
Reservations.
And Ocasio reservation as well. So Senator Favela reservations. Any no votes on this measure? Chair, your measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up is SB 2138. Subjects, probably the wrong word, applies the state ethics code to interns. I believe if they're working for more than 180 days. And yeah, the recommendation here is to pass unamended. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Ocasio.
Okay, Chair, we're voting on Senate Bill 2138 unamended. Noting the excused absence of Senator Keoho Kolole, are there any reservations? Any no votes? Chair, your measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. That concludes our business. Have a good weekend. We're adjourned.